Hello guys, in this video, we will once again talk about the process of making webtoon, but this time the topic is more specific to a genre that has been trending lately. We are going to discuss the process of creating a historical manhwa. First, let's talk about the structural process of making a webtoon. The first step is finishing the story, then creating the character designs. After that, build the 3D background, followed by making the storyboards, doing the line art, coloring, finishing, and finally publishing. However, this time I will only focus on the tips that making historical webtoon different from other genre. The focus is on how drawing clothing with a lot of decoration and accessories quickly. The webtoon you read that feature highly detailed outfit and background are usually not drawn completely by hand. Instead, creators often use template brushes available as asset in Clip Studio Paint. That's why if you want to work in webtoon industry, Clip Studio Paint skills are usually listed as requirement. The first step is preparing a canvas that already has the storyboard layout. So guys, I actually didn't prepare any story at all, because the comic page I'm making here is purely for a tutorial sample. Then, how do I create a storyboard without a story? For this, I rely on a paneling technique and dialogue that can be interpreted into many possible story directions. Once again, what I want to demonstrate is how to create historical manhwa clothing. So, for the first panel, show a full body shot of a guard character with a courteous gesture. Then, we scroll down with a larger panel featuring the male main character with a pose that also highlights his outfit. After that, we scroll again to show the full body of female character to display her dress and gesture. Then we scroll once more for a zoom-in panel of the female character expression. With this technique, I don't need to prepare a full story because the storyboard alone already allows multiple interpretation. For example, a guard escorting a guest to his lord. Then, a girl who is about to say something that could become a conflict. The placement of speech balloon is also planned from the start, so they form a zigzag reading flow from top to bottom. After finishing the storyboard, we will move on to the line art stage. For the line art stage, you can gather several clothing references that match the era and setting of the story you are creating. For the full body character in this first panel, I use references from 18th century footman uniform. If you look at the references, you will notice a lot of decorative detail that would normally take a long time to draw, such as embroidery pattern, frill around the collar, and wrists. The tip is here you need to ignore all those small details at first. That means frill, embroidery, button, and decorative cords. Just focus on drawing the main shape of the clothing first. Decorative element can be added after all the line art is finished or later when entering the coloring stage. In the second panel, I want to show another style of clothing from the 18th century. You can search for references using keywords like ruffled shirts or frill shirts. Then, draw the clothing using the same approach as before. Just focus on the overall shape and don't add any detail yet. I intentionally left the collar and wrist area in a simple form so they can serve as a marker for the where the frills will be added later. It's a bit unfortunate though. At first, I used a 3D character model for the storyboard. My plan was only to draw the head so the recording of the clothing drawing process for the video would be much faster. But then I thought it would feel incomplete if I only draw the head, so I ended up drawing the body and the hand too. And without realizing it, I even add a detailed muscles. In the end, once the clothes are added, those parts will be just erased anyway. Kind of disappointing. Next, we move on to drawing the female character. Based on the 18th century fashion references, there are two styles often associated with that period: the Regency era and the Victorian era. Since the setting I'm using as a references is British, I choose the Regency style dress for female character. Women's fashion during this era was very different from earlier style that featured tight corsets and large skirts. The silhouettes become much lighter, simpler, and more classical. That is also the reason I choose it, because honestly, I'm a little bit lazy to draw overly complicated outfit. The distinct feature of this style are the very high waistline placed right under the bust, and a skirt that falls straight down. The sleeves are usually short puff sleeve. The decorations are also much more simpler compared to Georgian or Victorian fashion. Typically, the detail only include a small ribbon, subtle embroidery, lace around the neckline, or trim along the hem of the skirts. Because of that, I will add a decorative element of the female character dress during the coloring stage. So later, we will separate the decorative element into two stages, those added during the line art phase and those added during the coloring phase. Decorative elements that belong to the line art stage are the ones that have clear outline. Meanwhile, the decoration that add during the coloring stage are usually things like fabric pattern or embroidery. Next, we will move on the stage of adding decorative elements that require line art. First, we need to prepare by downloading the brush asset we will use. You can go to the Clip Studio Asset Library and search for decoration to find this kind of brush. You will see many recommendations for decorative brushes here. However, if you want to use the brush that commonly seen in the webtoon you read, try looking for decoration assets shared by an account named Dopamine. Next, you can download whichever asset you think you will need. For this tutorial, I will try downloading an asset that I haven't used before. Just click on the asset and click download. Then, wait for the download process to finish. Once the download is complete, go back to Clip Studio Paint and open the Material tab where your downloaded assets are stored. Find the asset you downloaded and then drag your brush into the Brush tab. After that, the new material will be ready to use. Once the material is ready, it's time to draw the decorative element on the character's clothing using those brushes. You can create a new layer above the line art, and in my case, I will separate the layers into folders so it's easier to organize all decorative line art at the same time. After that, choose the decorative that fit your character outfit and start drawing as usual. To make the design more visually interesting, try to use various patterns on the character clothing. You can also show the character's social status through this decoration. The more decorative elements there are, the wealthier and higher their status appear, because clothing with embroidered pattern in that era was typically worn only by the wealthy. Next, I will draw frills as decorative element for the outfit in the second panel. To do this, I just use the frill brush that fits the design of these shirts. If you don't have a frill brush yet, the method is the same as before. Simply search for frill in the Clip Studio Paint Asset Library and download the one you need. For the clothing in the second panel, the frills appear around the neckline and the wrist area, so I only need to draw them around those spots. The line art from the brush may look a bit different, usually a bit rougher than my own line art. Because of that, I make a small adjustment so the results look more natural and blend well between the manually drawn line art and the decorative brush line art. As you saw earlier, Regency era women's clothing usually features decoration like ribbon or embroidery, rather than heavy structural detail. Because of that, we'll move on to the coloring stage first, since the decoration for female character outfit will be added during this phase. For the first coloring stage, we'll focus on applying the base color first. Fill in every part with its base color according to your chosen color palette. In this stage, you will add base color to the skin, eyes and mouth, clothing, and hair. The decorative line art in this first panel will still appear black and white. I will explain how to color those decorations in the next step. Before we start coloring the decoration, let's prepare a tool that will help speed up the workflow. You can download an auto action called Bottom Color Separation. After downloading it, place the asset in your auto action tab in Clip Studio Paint. Once the auto action is ready, go to the assets you want to color. I usually group the decoration that share the same color so they can be placed on the single layer. After that, choose the color you want to apply to the assets. Then, go to Auto Action tabs where you add the downloaded auto action and double-click or press play. With this method, the asset will be automatically colored according to the color you select. Next, we move on to the stage of decorating the clothing pattern. The brush I'm using here also comes from Clip Studio Paint Asset Library. Adding pattern to the clothing is done during coloring phase because the decoration is applied directly on top the clothing color. Create a new layer and set it as clipping group layer to the female character dress color. You can also adjust the opacity of the pattern so it doesn't look too overpowering. After adding the pattern to the female character dress, I felt the outfit still looked a bit plain, so I add another decorative asset around the edge of the dress. I already adjust the color to match the dress, so in this case, I don't need to use the auto action like before. In conclusion, there are two ways to color decorative assets. You can add them first in black and white during the line art phase, then color them later using auto action. Or you can add them directly during the coloring stage by matching the decoration color to the clothing. After the clothing decoration are finished, it's time to move on to the shading phase. Apply shading to the object in your comic. Everyone has their own shading method. Personally, I start by using one universal shading color, then later adjust the shading color so it matches the base color better. In simple terms, I group the skin, clothing, and hair into separate folder. Then, I set the shading layer as clipping layer to each of those folders. At this stage, the process doesn't stop at shading. I also adjust the color of the line art so it's blend better with the overall coloring. However, this step is optional. Before moving on to the finishing stage, I want to add a few things that I forgot earlier, accessories for the character. Normally, this could be done during the line art stage, but since I just remember it now, I will add them before adjusting the color grading for the final step. For the female character, I want to add a tiara and a necklace. The tiara is available as a 3D model asset, so I will just use that. As for the necklace, it's quite simple to draw because there is a gem-shaped brush, so I can just place the gem quickly. For the male character, I will add a brush. The brush, it works like a stem, so it's basically done with just one click. Finally, we are almost done and have reached the finishing stage. The first thing to finish is the background. In this example, the comic page I'm showing here doesn't actually have a background yet, since I'm too lazy to create a 3D model of a royal room. For this case, I will just draw the background manually, besides it's only for one panel. If some of you can create a 3D model or don't have enough money to buy them, what is the solution? Just draw the background manually. And if you can draw the background manually either, then the solution is simple, just learn. Life is already difficult, guys, so don't make it harder for yourself. If there is an easy mode, just pick the easy one. No need to force yourself into expert mode. After that, we apply color grading to harmonize the character with the background. Personally, I use a gradient layer combined with layer modes with low opacity. This helps blend the color so everything feels more unified. Apply this step to each panel until overall tone look consistent. Before adding the floral decoration, I will insert a speech balloon template first. This is to make sure the placement can be read clearly later. Ideally, this should be early done during the storyboard stage, but since I only just came out with the idea of dialogue now, I'm adding this at this point. Next, we add the floral decoration. Make sure you add this decoration with the purpose of enhancing the panel, not covering the character, interfering with the speech balloon, or becoming the main focus. These are only decorative elements, so usually they are placed around the edge of the panel, such as along the border or in the corner. You can also use various plant on flower brushes so the result doesn't look repetitive and boring. Next, we move on to finishing the background by adding texture. There are many types of brush you can use for this. You can search in the Clip Studio Paint asset library by the keyword textured brush. Some examples of brushes I use are depth light, fill, hatch, gauze, halo, sparkles, and others. When applying texture to the background, make sure it doesn't overpower the character. Keep it more subdued but still clear enough so the texture remains visible. Now, it's time for typesetting, the final finishing step where we check the readability of the dialogue. We separate the speech balloon from the text so it's easier to edit them later. Also, double check the writing accuracy, both in terms of grammar and whether it fits the historical setting. In my case, I changed the dialogue from earlier version because I decided that the male main character's social status is a duke. That's why a character of lower status address him as Your Grace. This references is based on British royal etiquette, so if you are using different historical or cultural references, make sure to double check the correct form of address. And finally, that's the end of historical manhwa creating process. Even after shortening it from line art stage to finishing stage, it still turned out to be quite long. So, what do you guys think? Pretty easy, right? If you want to learn about how to make a webtoon, you can check out some of my previous video. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.